Hello, everyone. I'm Kian,
I'm Nathan.
and this is What Happens After You Die. We chose this question of what happens after you die because it is a topic that has many, many answers to the question. The multiple cultures and religions around the world have beliefs that can change perspectives on how to live your life and what to expect afterwards. The different perspectives on death show the many ways people cope with death.
Through this question, we learned that there are zero definitive answers, but lots of reflection. The questions also increase our understanding of human beliefs and made us realize that there are many different perspectives on the afterlife. So, what did you start with, Kia?
I researched Islam, Judaism, and Sikhism.
Oh, I researched Buddhism, Mormon, and Shinto.
On my Islam research, I learned that the Islamic people believes that the soul has four stages of the journey. The stages being initial death, life and waiting in the grave, judgment day, and finally eternal death. For Muslims, the initial stage of death is told to be remembered and thought about often by their prophet Muhammad. The Quran quotes and mentions death many times in different verses. Remember the Remember often the destroyer of pleasures, i.e. death. This was said by the Prophet Muhammad. The second stage of death is believed to happen after the one who died gets buried in their grave. Muslims believe that once you are buried in your graves, two angels will pay you a visit to ask three questions. The questions the angels ask are: Who is your Lord? What is your religion? And who is the man who is sent among you? According to the Quran, a good soul is one who answers these three questions respectively: Allah, Islam, and Muhammad. And an evil soul is one who does not know the answers to these questions. Once the angels ask the once the angels ask the three questions, the good soul will spend the rest of its time in heaven, while the evil soul will spend its time in hell. The Muslims believe that you would end up in either heaven or hell based on two things: what they believe in and what deeds they did when they were alive. The third stage of death is the day of judgment. Muslims believe that only Allah knows when the hour for judgment will arrive. Muslims Muslims believe that Allah will send down one of his angels, Israfil, to blow a special horn signifying the day of judgment's arrival. Once the horn is blown, everything in existence will come to an end. Once the hour comes for judgment, every human will start thinking about only themselves. They will forget about any and everyone because the day of judgment is so terrifying. According to the words of the Prophet Muhammad, all of mankind, from the first human to the last human, will be gathered on a flat plain, and the sun will be moved closer, causing everyone to sweat except those granted shade by Allah. After judgment is completed, two groups of people will be sent to separate places, either heaven or hell, and then eternal life begins, which is the fourth and final step. The people sent to hell will experience torture and have the worst possible punishment, and those who are sent to heaven are said to receive every type of pleasure imaginable. Rivers of water, milk, honey, and wine flow between palaces of gold and silver and perfect gardens. Palm trees grow in the center of tables with every type of fruit growing on them. According to Allah, the pleasures you will experience in heaven are even greater than what any person could possibly imagine.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
What was your first religion?
Um, I researched Buddhism as my first religion. Buddhism develops from the teachings of the Awakened One. Between this religion spread or was made between the 4th and 6th centuries before the Common Era. This spread to India and Japan and Southeast Asia, China, and Korea. Buddhists have five core beliefs. They do not kill, steal, or engage in false speech or misuse sex, and they do not indulge in intoxicants. All Buddhists believe that human life is a cycle of suffering and rebirth. But if one reaches a state of enlightenment called nirvana, they can escape this life. Siddhartha Gautama was the one to escape this life cycle and is known as the Buddha. This religion has over 520 million followers worldwide. Buddhists also believe if you go into death with a good mindset, you'll be brought back in good circumstances. That's why a lot of Buddhists prepare to death with meditation and chanting certain scriptures. However, more Western Buddhists do not believe in rebirth.
My second research point was Judaism. According to Jewish beliefs, there is not one clear idea of what happens after they die. Some Jewish people believe that God judges them based on what they did during life, encouraging them to behave well and follow the text of God. Most Jewish people believe that it is more important to concern themselves by how they live their current lives and behaving well than it is to concern themselves with the afterlife. Some Jewish people believe that the soul is judged directly after death, while others believe that the souls are judged by the Messiah and God on the day of judgment. Some Jewish people also believe that everyone will be resurrected on the day of judgment to stand before God while they are judged, and others believe only the ones who were good and stuck to morals will be resurrected. Jewish scriptures contain little information about what happens after death, and they believe that their earthly lives are more important than any afterlife at all. There are different views about the afterlife in Jewish scriptures, but there is not one clear decision on belief. Many Jewish people believe that there is a world to come, called Olam Haba, which is a perfect version of the world. It is said to only come about after God and the Messiah have judged the living and the dead. Many Jewish people believe that the people will experience much pain and suffering, but this world is merely a waiting room for the world to come. They believe that morally pure people will be reunited with their loved ones and their soul will live on. Jewish people believe that, to have a good afterlife, they must repair the world around them. Many believe that reincarnation happens all the time and that the souls that are reincarnated will continue to repair the world around them. Jewish beliefs state that people who follow the laws of God will be sent to heaven after their body is considered dead. Many describe heaven as the Garden of Eden, a place of sunshine where people from all nations can sit together and enjoy peaceful meals together after the Messianic age, an era of peace that the Messiah will bring. Some Jewish people believe that those who lived a sinless life will get sent to the Garden of Eden, while those who have committed sins could get sent to Sheol or Gehenna, a place of torment. Most Jewish people believe in resurrection after death, though. They believe that resurrection will occur during the Messianic age, and most Jewish people will not cremate the remains of a dead person because they believe the good will rise from the dead.
That's very cool, man. That's very cool. I didn't know about that. That's actually very, very cool.
What's your second belief?
The second religion I researched is Mormon. Now, Mormons don't actually go to a church called the Mormon Church or anything like that. They go to a church called the Church of Jesus Christ of the Latter-day Saints. Church members are called the Latter-day Saints. Anyways, they believe after death, the Latter-day Saints believe that once they die, their spirit will be separated from their physical body, and they can rest and heal from the mortal world, and prepare to go into God's kingdom. At the time of Jesus Christ's second coming, everyone who died will be resurrected with perfect bodies. Christ will reign over earth for a period of time, and Satan will be bound, allowing truth and peace all over the earth. This is known as millennium in Mormon culture and religion. At the end of this period, time, at the end of the period time, will be Christ's final judgment. People who worshipped and spread the gospel of the Mormon culture will be sent to the highest level of heaven, which is called the celestial kingdom, where people will live besides Jesus Christ and God. The second kingdom is called terrestrial kingdom, where people who chose not to worship or spread the gospel, but were good people nonetheless, will live in this kingdom. I will now pass on to Keen to talk about his third religion.
Now, my third religion is Sikhism. The Sikhs believe in reincarnation after death. They believe that the soul is eternal and the earthly body is temporary, as they go through a cycle of death and rebirth until they are freed and united with their Waheguru, or God. At the moment of death, Sikhs start to prepare for a funeral immediately, ideally within 3 days of the death. Before a funeral, Sikhs wash the body and dress it up, if they were baptized, then they would have their karkars, which are the 5 articles of Sikh faith. The karkars are kesh, uncut hair, kangha, a small wooden comb, kacha, some underwear, usually shorts, karha, an iron bracelet, and kirpan, a sword or dagger. Also, the body is usually surrounded with flowers, usually chrysanthemums. The funeral is usually quiet and private, as they have them in their homes or at the crematorium. The Sikh people don't have long eulogies because they believe that it goes against the belief that the body is a vessel for the soul. After death, they believe that the soul is reincarnated into a new body. Many Sikh people believe that there are 8.4 million different life forms that one can experience before being freed from the cycle of samsara, the cycle of death and rebirth. They believe that those who do not serve the true God and contemplate the word of the Shabad are like corpses in the world. They will have to go through the cycle of 8.4 million reincarnations and are ruined by death and rebirth. Sikhism teaches that all beings have a soul and are part of reincarnation. Sikhs believe that the soul is given to them by their God and that their souls are a part of their God. When people die, Sikhs believe that the soul of all beings, humans and animals, are reborn into a new body once dead. Also, the body one gets reincarnated into is determined by the karma gained or lost during the previous life. They believe that the highest being on earth is a human, and the cycle of life and death continues until the soul has been liberated from the pattern and reunited with their God.
Yo, it's very cool, man. I had no idea about Sikhism. I had no idea what the religion was. Anyways, the third religion I'm going to be talking about is Shinto. Shinto is the Japan's native belief system. This belief system actually predates historical records. People of the Shinto religion believe in spirits slash supernatural entities called kamis. Kamis are believed to inhabit everything, including rocks, trees, grass, etc. Kamis are worshipped at Akamida households and Jinja public shrines. After a person in the Shinto faith dies, they forever become a kami. But this is through family prayers and sacrifice. They believe that their ancestors will protect them from evil and harm. But this only happens after 33 years. At first, it's just to be a spirit helping and assisting the living. Keen, what's your personal belief about religion?
My personal belief is that once a human dies, their soul is free to roam the earth forever. I don't believe in a certain religion, so I'm not sure if any religions actually believe in something similar to that. But I feel comfort knowing that the soul remains forever and that the body is just a physical manifestation of the soul. I also don't like the thought of like loved ones disappearing after death,
Yeah, I get
so
that. I get that. You
it
know, my
gives more comfort.
yeah, that's
It
understandable.
also the belief also explains why some people report ghost sightings. I
It's
think the ghosts are just like souls of the deceased trying to connect with people who are still alive.
it's interesting, interesting. Well, I don't really believe in anything, but
Mm,
that's pretty boring. So the second most thing I would believe makes the most sense would be reincarnation, because I don't know, it's so cool. I don't know. I think it's
yeah.
interesting. It just gives a bit of comfort thinking about death like that. Reincarnation's probably the second most thing I would believe, besides that I just believe in nothing. And that's my personal beliefs about death and all that. Can you have anything to say?
Thanks for listening. I hope this provides some new insight on what certain cultures and religions believe in.
Anyways, that's our podcast. Bye. Cut that, cut
Bye.
that.